As Putin continues to unleash massive attacks, the U.S. just resumed sending military aid to Ukraine. But there are a lot of questions about the sudden halt on aid last week. And we didn't really get any answers yesterday when the question was posed. Check it out.
Last week, the Pentagon paused some shipments of weapons to Ukraine. Did you approve of that pause?
We want to put defensive weapons because Putin is not treating human beings right. He's killing too many people. So we're sending some defensive weapons to Ukraine, and I've approved that.
So who ordered the pause last week?
I don't know. Why don't you tell me?
Yesterday, you said that you were not sure who ordered the munitions halted to Ukraine. Have you since been able to figure that out?
Well, I haven't thought about it because we're looking at Ukraine right now and munitions, but I have not gone into it.
What does it say that such a big decision could be made inside your government without you knowing?
I would know. If a decision was made, I will know. I'll be the first to know. In fact, most likely I'd give the order, but I haven't done that yet.
But, okay, wait. Wait a minute. You said you didn't know.
Right. No, he said I would know.
Yeah, but before
he did.
you was like he didn't. Am I correct? Yeah, he just asked somebody else if she knew who it was. Come on, man. Now wait. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth was sitting right next to him. So who is going to take the fall for? Who is in charge? What is going on?
You know, it's very scary. I'm going to tell you the truth. Now I'm getting scared. There are a bunch of incompetent people headed by the president himself. And today, Christine Noem, for example, she wants to eliminate FEMA. In view of what just happened in Texas, she wants to eliminate the one organization that could help those people, the federal government. And I'd like to know, why am I taking federal taxes if they're not going to do anything, by the way? Is there anybody who can tell me that? Yeah. If they want the states to take care of everything, I'll pay state taxes and not federal taxes. Yeah. Right. Watch the IRS come after me now.
I'm a glass half full kind of gal. I'm going to celebrate that we're actually giving life-saving aid to Ukraine because Trump ran saying he was going to halt it. And I think two things have happened that have made him reverse that decision to give them defensive weapons. One is he campaigned saying on day one, we're going to get this deal to end the war in Ukraine. I've got this special relationship with Putin. But what's happened is he's had countless 90-minute, 60-minute calls with Putin. His team has back-channeled and talked to the Russians, and they've not gotten a deal. And in fact, in a couple of cases, after having long meetings with Putin, he's then gone and launched attacks on civilians in Ukraine. And Trump sees that, and I think he sees that
now Trump is mad that Putin's not paying attention to him?
I think he thinks it's insulting American strength, and he's responding to that. The other thing is this. When you're campaigning, he had a lot of people around him saying, Ukraine's got no shot in hell, Russia's going to win this thing, and so he was running on that. Now he's got people around him. He's talking to Emmanuel Macron. He's talking to Keir Starmer. He's talking to European leaders who are saying, you have to be supporting them. The Ukrainians can win this. And I think it's breaking through. So I'm going to take victories when they come, even if they feel few and far between. Most Americans do support aiding Ukraine, and I think it's the right decision that we are.
Look, I want to know who's in charge.
Exactly.
Okay? Why doesn't the commander-in-chief know that there was a pause in military aid to an ally? That scares the heck out of me. The White House has declined to confirm that Hegseth made the call to stop the shipment to Ukraine. Who made the call? Trump didn't make the call. If Hegseth didn't make the call, I didn't make the call. Who made the call? And so what I just learned is Hegseth, as the Secretary of Defense, has no chief of staff, having a hard time finding one, lacks senior advisors who might have been able to prevent the fiasco. So not only does he have, in my view, someone that's incompetent as the head person of the Department of Defense, the head person doesn't even have any help. We're in trouble.
We're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, but I think we all knew that Hegseth was in over his head. I mean, this is an $841 billion budget. This is the largest government agency, and he was not equipped to handle it, which was predicted and known to begin with. The thing is, I can't imagine things are going well behind the scenes right now because Putin has kind of mocked Trump and what he keeps doing to the Ukraine. And I think that's the problem right now, is that to have this kind of decision come out in public and have someone acting without his power, but also I don't think he'd be, someone asked, do you think he'll last past this? I think the only...
Hegseth?
Who, Hegseth or Trump?
No, Hegseth. We're not getting that ahead of ourselves. But I don't think that Trump would ever give the win to the other team by letting anything happen to Hegseth. So I think he's having to kind of deal with this.
I wonder if he's on the chopping block. Do you think he's on the chopping
I don't
block?
think he is. I don't think he'd give that to
I don't know
everyone.
if in relation to this, because I think that Ukraine and Russia is such a sensitive issue within MAGA, but I'm not convinced that Hegseth is going to last
You
more
know
than
what's
6 months.
bothering me more than anything about all of this? That while they're fooling around, people are dying.
Yes.
A lot of people.
Yes, they
People are dying.
Yeah.
You know, just all of this, not just what's happening in Ukraine, but what's happening around the world that we have been part of. Aid disappearing, children dying, AIDS folks dying. I mean, I just, while they fiddle, you know, while they're
Incompetently.
fiddling, people are dying. And I just really want to know who's leading the charge? What does America stand for anymore? I'm not sure ananymore.
But do you guys think it's interesting that Trump basically overruled Hegseth and said we are going to actually give aid to Ukraine? To me, that signals
Today,
that reportedly
he
that
says that.
But it signals that European allies, I think, are getting through to him. He's meeting with these people.
He's going to lose
talking
his
to
MAGA
them.
base with that, though, because that was one of the things he ran on.
Yeah, but he's
But the
not
base
up for
is also
re-election.
divided on this.
Because the
It's-
majority of the country thinks we should support Ukraine. So he's actually with the
When does
majority
he
of
pay
Americans.
attention to the majority of the country?
I just think it's notable, though, that he's reversed and gone back to closer to a first-term position.
Well, that's
but that
why
you
they call
worked
him
with him.
Taco.
That's
What?
not going to rub him well, though, that Hegseth did that without, because 5 sources, CNN is reporting, have come out to say he absolutely did not notify the White House. That's a massive decision when that's one of 2 major...
It's also-
And that Hegseth made that decision. You know what else I have a question about?
What you got? What?
Like I've, you know, I'm 56. I've seen a couple of presidents. I've never seen so much theater in these cabinet meetings. Isn't serious stuff supposed to be occurring in these cabinet meetings?
He's a reality.
Well, I think Pete
Listen,
Hegseth knows
This
it's
is
serious.
extremely relatable, though, when you're like...
It's just not normal
I don't
for the
have the
media
answer.
to linger only so that they can listen while the cabinet people effusively, like, kiss his
but
rear.
Well, in the way that this should
It's
happen
weird.
is
I
that
know.
Hegseth and the DOD would make a recommendation based on if we should give aid going forward. It'd then go to the National Security Council, which is now led by Marco Rubio, and then he'd present to the president as the ultimate sign-off to say we are giving aid or we're cutting it. It's remarkable
Where's
that the
Marco?
Department of Defense just simply made a decision.
People are
reportedly.
imitating Marco. You don't know who Marco
that's
is
right.
anymore.
Oh,
You don't know if that's Marco you talking to or you know,
That's
some
right.
kind of
But in
new Marco.
that chat that Hegseth got caught in,
The signal gate.
yeah, he tells his brother and his spouse everything, but not the president.
No.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Got to
He's
keep
in
it in
over
the
his head.
family. Joy.
Well, that's the problem. Trump is not related to him.
Okay, I'm going with